Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy. I miss seeing you guys all the time. Right now we're kind of in some unknowns and that leads to a lot of stress and sometimes gets us feeling a little bit under the weather. So something that I have been doing that I'm going to challenge you guys to do is when you lay down to go to bed at night, I challenge you guys to think of 3 positive things that happened that day. This way, you're ending your day on a positive note, and hopefully, you'll wake up the next day on that same note. But to get to school things, today we are going to do a little bit of a writing lesson. So, first of all, I want you guys to make sure you have these materials, either a pencil or a pen, a new page in your writer's notebook ready to go, and then easy access to the links page on the Google form. We don't need that until later, but just so that way you guys are prepared. If you need to pause the video to get any of those materials, you are more than welcome to do so. To begin, we are going to do a little bit of simple sentence reviewing. I want you guys to look at these 2 options on the screen and think, which one is a correct simple sentence? Go ahead and pause the video if you need to and think in your head which one is correct and then what aspects make it correct or incorrect. So, what is a simple sentence? Let's start with that. A simple sentence can stand on its own. It's not a fragment. So that means that it has a subject and a predicate. So if we look at these 2 options, the first option says, can sing beautifully. Wrong. Automatically, you can tell that's not correct because there's no subject. Who can sing beautifully? What can sing beautifully? There's no answer to that in that sentence. The second one says, Sam can sing beautifully. Yes, that is correct. You can easily see that there is a subject and a predicate in that sentence. Today, we are going to take it one step further past simple sentences, and we're going to see if you guys can figure it out without me telling you. So this says, how can we make the highlighted sentences flow better? To start, I'm going to read the paragraph to you. There's a soccer game today for a 4th grade team. Anna wants to play goalie, Claire wants to play goalie. They will have to take turns. I have highlighted 2 sentences in this paragraph that just don't quite flow right. We've talked a lot about sentence fluency and how it's supposed to flow nice and easy. And with those 2 sentences, it just didn't do that. I would like you guys to pause the video and think in your head, how could we shift these sentences so that way they flow better in the paragraph? Go ahead, pause the video, reread the paragraph, and see what changes you can make. Here is my thought process. So the first thing I did is I removed the sentences from the paragraph. Now all I have on my screen is Anna wants to play goalie, Claire wants to play goalie. Easily right here for me to look at. And as I'm looking at these, I'm like, gosh, those are 2 simple sentences, and they both have a subject, and they both have a predicate, but the predicate is exactly the same. What if we were to make it into a compound sentence? Now, compound sentence is something new that we haven't learned a lot about yet. So this is how we do it. We look at the sentences and we decide what part is the same. Well, in this sentence, both of them have wants to play goalie as the predicate. That's the same. So we're going to go ahead and we pull those down. Wants to play goalie. And then we look at the subjects and we add them together. Anna plus Claire, so that would be Anna and Claire. So, but then wait. Anna and Claire wants to play goalie? That's not quite right either. Because the subject and the verb aren't agreeing. Anna and Claire doesn't agree with wants. So we have to change the word wants to want to get the sentence, Anna and Claire want to play goalie. So let's look at this sentence placed back in the paragraph and see if it makes more sense. Go ahead and read it with me out loud. There is a soccer game today for the 4th grade team. Anna and Claire want to play goalie. They will have to take turns. I think that sounds pretty great, don't you guys? Now, when we look at this sentence, I told you it was a compound sentence, but it actually has a compound subject. So, with that being said, you can have a sentence that has a compound subject, but you can also have a sentence that has a compound predicate, which we'll look at right now. So let's look at these two sentences. The cows ate hay, the cows drank water. How are we going to make that into a compound predicate? Can you guys find the part of the sentence that has the same words? So I highlighted it here, the cows. The cows are the same in both sentences. So that means that the subject is the same. So what do we do when something is the same? We pull it down, and then we add the other two together. So I put ate hay plus drank water, which would translate into words out of that mathematical equation to say ate hay and drank water. Let's read the sentence in whole and see if it makes sense. The cows ate hay and drank water. I think that sounds pretty good. So now we're going to move on to some practice. Let's do the first one together, and then I'm going to ask you guys to do the rest on your own. The first one says, Johnny went to the football game, Micah went to the football game. Now there is some repetition there that I think we can make that into a compound subject. Johnny and Micah went to the football game. Went to the football game was the same, so we pulled it down into our final sentence, and then we added Johnny and Micah. Why don't you guys go ahead, pause the video, and write out these sentences as compound sentences. Do this on that blank page in your writer's notebook, and then return when you guys are done with that. Okay, so now these are the sentences that you should have came up with. If you didn't, that is okay. You can go ahead and erase that out of your writer's notebook and write the correct one in. So I'm going to read the sentences, and if you come across one that you don't have the same answer as, that's okay. Go ahead and pause the video, erase your original answer, and write down this one. The first answer should be, Johnny and Micah went to the football game. Went to the football game was the same. My mom and my dad went out for dinner. My mom and my dad were the subjects of two different sentences, and went out for dinner was pulled all the way down into the final sentence. Number 3, my sister and I watched a movie. Watched a movie was the same predicate in both sentences, so this sentence has a compound subject. Sarah ran to the store and to the pool. Now this one is different. This one is a compound predicate. The sentences both had the same subject of Sarah. It was what she did that there was two things of. Number 5, Callie ate cake and ice cream. Number 6, Grandma made her famous cookies and lemonade. If you need to pause to change any of those sentences, you are more than welcome to do so. Now we're going to move on to some work time. So in just a second, I'm going to ask you to pause the video, set a timer for 10 minutes, and then you're just going to look through your writer's notebook and find a story or an entry where you can maybe make some changes and add some compound subject sentences or some compound predicate sentences. Then when you are done with that, you'll want to leave your notebook left open right there because you will need to use that sentence later in this lesson. And then you can return to the video. Okay, so now that you have done that, we are going to do a little bit of review before this lesson finishes. The question that I have on the screen is, why do we create compound subjects or compound predicates? I want you to pause the video and find something or someone in your house to go tell that to. Whether it's your dog, your mom, your grandma, a sibling, if you're talking to your hand, whatever you gotta do, just to say out loud to something. Okay, and now that we are back and we have reviewed what a compound subject and a compound predicate is and why we create them, I'm going to have you go over to that Google form that I shared in the links page, and you're going to write down the sentence that you changed out of your writer's notebook onto that Google form and submit it to me so that way I can see it. Remember, you guys can always reach out to me by email if you have any questions, and I hope you guys are still doing well.